Today's show is brought to you by two of our favorite organizations, the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh and the Allegheny County Library Association. September marks 10 years of their joint program, Love Your Library. It's really a county-wide celebration where your donation during the month of September will be partially matched and helps keep essential services going. So everything from books and materials to facility improvements and programs for all. If you use the library system, show your love and donate now at loveyourlibrary.org. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, goodbye pools and popsicles, hello hayrides and pumpkin beer. Today I'm with CityCast Francesca Dabecco talking about part one of our enormous list of autumnal events. Oktoberfests and boozy things, harvest markets, festivals and fairs, community farm celebrations, and a teeny preview of a couple of things to put you in the mood for Halloween. It's Thursday, September 4th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Francesca, hello. I think we went a little too hard on our list.
Yes. Well, it's pretty comprehensive, so I hope it serves people well. You can find it at pittsburgh.citycast.fm. We're going to talk about some here today, though.
Yeah, we're going to start with Oktoberfest, boozy events, because confusingly, Oktoberfest is always mostly celebrated in September.
I always wondered that. Why? It's a little confusing, but there's definitely
I'm sure there's a logical reason because it comes from the German culture.
Yeah,
they always have a logical purpose.
And it's spelled with a K, Anyways, there's a bunch around town. Megan, you've been to some. What's on your radar?
Yeah, so we'll run through a few here. There are so many this year. So Spoonwood over in Bethel Park, theirs goes on for over a week, so you have lots of opportunity there. Another big one is Southern Tier on the North Shore. They do this huge block party, which is really fun. It's September 13th this year. They're going to have food and vendors and tarot readings. So, just in case you like to have your tarot read in front of like 300 of your closest friends.
I'm sure they do it like privately, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I hope so. Maybe there's like a curtain situation. Yeah. If not, you can just like neb nose on, someone else's drama.
Yeah, exactly. And then Green Tree also has theirs on September 13th, and they have a bunch of stuff for kids. So if you want a family-friendly event, they have face painting, balloons, juggling, magic shows, also musical chairs for both kids and adults, which...
Can you imagine doing that while drinking?
Absolutely not. I'm not coordinated as it is. I don't know, but they will have fireworks at night. So that'll be, something fun out there in the South Hills.
Nothing says a fall festival quite like fireworks afterwards,
Yeah. Yep.
For the genuine German experience, there are a couple of options coming up too.
Yeah, so the Pennsylvania Bavarian Oktoberfest is September 19th through the 21st out in Washington County. It's in Canonsburg. And this is a whole weekend of, German-inspired fun. Think crafts, carnival rides, games, dancing, a lot of food. Think stuff like pretzels, sausage, potato dumplings. If you want to wear your best lederhosen, wear your best German fit, be a blast.
That'll be perfect. By the way, if you are into German food, we also tapped in a local expert, home chef and friend of the pod, Doug Heilman, not long ago for his list of favorite spots for the best German food here in Pittsburgh. So we'll put that in our show notes. Another one that I've never been to the real Oktoberfest over in Germany, but like feels pretty authentic to me is Penn Brewery. So they're one of the oldest breweries here in the Pittsburgh region. They've been around for ages, and they've got that big brick building that's kind of up on the hill on your way to Troy Hill. It's just like such an imposing spot, which is what I want from like a German experience, right?
It feels right. And don't they always have like string lights out there? It's really fun.
Yeah, tons of tents, and it's like multi-level because of like the weird way their parking garage was like carved into the hillside. So it like feels really fun. They have caves in there where you can like, sit at a picnic table, and it's like in the somewhat authentic beer cave.
That's cool.
The beer garden is cobblestone. It's really cute. So it's like 4 floors, I think, in total. They have hot German potato salad, schnitzel. I think Sorgels and Penn are pairing up to do a shandy this year.
Oh,
They always have a VIP party, but this goes on for a while too. So it's September 19th through the 27th. And also, I just want to throw it out there for any German stands. We are not forgetting Teutonia Manor Court. Theirs just happened in August, so we missed out.
Okay, that actually shocked me that it started all the way in August.
They were first on the jump. I love it. They were ready. They were ready to celebrate.
Yeah, we love it. They're ready. And then for a totally different experience, you can go to the Voktoberfest at Vellum Fermentation on September 27th. This is with the Pittsburgh Vegan Expo. They always do a lot of really fun pop-up events, seasonal things. So they're doing like art pop-ups, like spooky things. They're going to have live music, cultural dance performances, even a skee ball competition. They said there's prizes. I'm not sure what the prizes are. But of course, they'll have a ton of vegan treats. This is all on the south side. It's going to be indoor and outdoor. And doggos are welcome. So that's fun if you want to, take your pup out for a fall celebration.
That's amazing. We're going to move on now to fall fairs, like markets, festivals, that kind of thing. There are just so many of
So
these.
many.
They're all over our region. Once again, head over to our website at pittsburgh.citycast.fm to see the full list. But we're going to talk about a few of our favorites or just like some ones we're excited to check out for the first time.
Yeah, I really love whenever the community gardens start celebrating their harvest this time of year. And it just is a really great way to celebrate everything that they've done all summer long. So the Hilltop Harvest Festival is happening in Mount Oliver on September 6th. They're going to have a vendor market, fresh produce, of course, craft beer, seasonal treats, live music, all kinds of family-friendly activities. And if you are one of those people who start eating and drinking pumpkin stuff, like as soon as the weather gets a little chilly, you might want to go to this because they're doing a pumpkin bake-off. So bring your best recipe, get ready for your fall baking. So again, that's September 6th. And then there's another option on September 6th, which is the Freedom Harvest Fest. And this is out at the From Slavery to Freedom Garden, right next to the Frick Environmental Center at Frick Park. So the Parks Conservancy does this celebration, and it showcases crops that were valuable to people who were seeking freedom, like peanuts, green onions, raspberries, as well as plants that were used for medicine. So it's educational, but they're gonna have soulful music, garden tours, history hikes, and while you're out there, you should check out the new Sensory Nature Trail, which is right there by the From Slavery to Freedom Garden. So 2 ways you can kind of celebrate community gardens in the area.
Actually, I'm going to throw in a third because Garfield Community Farm is doing their big fall benefit. So it's a little bit different. It's not actually on the farm site. It's over at the Tree Pittsburgh campus. This is coming up on September 12th.
Oh, that's so pretty, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is their annual fundraiser. So they do all kinds of small bites from local chefs, special drinks, and then, of course, just gobs of beautiful art and that gorgeous Tree Pittsburgh campus. It's just such a beautiful atmosphere. But if you're not familiar with the Garfield Community Farm, it's such a cool space if you've never been. They do a lot of programming for the public, like classes, summer camps. If you're a family in the area, you can have a plot there to grow your own vegetables. They do a CSA, which you can pay for a variety of ways, like a work share, for example, where you only work a couple of hours and then you get fresh vegetables. But they have their farmers market stand, and the whole thing just promotes this idea of permaculture. So trying to improve the environment while also growing food for people, which is not a thing that always goes hand in hand. So I love that our neighbors are trying to figure this out and make it sustainable for folks.
Yeah, they do a lot of great programming. Like you said, I'm always putting their events in the newsletter. They do different workshops on how to grow things or how to seed save. So there's a lot to check out there. And this is a great opportunity to check out Tree Pittsburgh's space. I've never been there, but you've been there, Megan, I know. And
many times. It is never a bad time. Just sitting there right by the river. They always have gorgeous golden hour light. It's so nice.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll move up north now to Evans City's Pumpkin Fest. I'm throwing this one out there September 20th through 21st. They're going to have a ton of pumpkin themed activities, which like that's happening all over the region. However, I think it's really cool that it'll bring you up to the space really, really close to where filmmaker George Romero brought his classic Night of the Living Dead to life.
Oh.
So like, you know, the preeminent like zombie creator, like he didn't use that word back then, but like that's what we know the genre to be today.
Yeah.
That movie and that whole like genre of film was kind of developed here, was born here. So you can check that out. There's a vendor market, a book sale. They're going to do performances. I hope they do a few that are like, you know, kind of like Romero inspired.
Oh, they have to.
I know. A car cruise. Anyway, Evan City is a really cute little spot.
I love that. So you went north. I'm going to go south.
Do it.
So from September 20th to 21st, that same weekend, there is the Covered Bridge Festival in Washington and Greene counties. I didn't realize this, but Washington County has 23 historic covered bridges. And as Pittsburgh being like the city of bridges, I just love that there's a celebration of this specific type of bridge. These built
little bitty bridges with that were covered so that it maintained transit in an area, because like sometimes that winter weather could like shut down an area for indefinitely because you couldn't pass.
Totally. Yep. And most of them were built like in the 19th century. They're very historic and charming. The only one that I've actually visited around here was up at McConnell's Mill. But I think that this is a fun way to celebrate that like niche, just like Western Pennsylvania history. But they have all sorts of arts and crafts. They advertise home style foods. So I'm assuming like a lot of comfort food. There's going to be historical reenactments. Not sure what history we're reenacting here, but could be cool. Some demonstrations, entertainment like live music. So a great way to check out our South counties around Pittsburgh.
And like I said, there are just so many in September. I love that folks are getting a jump on this. So like Butler, Ben Avon, the Waterfront. The Waterfront actually has one where they do a pumpkin race, a great pumpkin race, where dogs are in costume and run through like a little like obstacle course race situation. They have to be under 25 pounds, but I think anybody can enter.
Little puppies. Yeah.
Yeah. The obstacles are quite small, like but big dogs can be there. They just can't compete.
Yeah.
Braddock has one, Crafton, Sewickley, Green Tree, Monroeville. There are just so many.
Yeah, check out our website. We have this huge list. It's all organized by date with these handy links so you can check out the times, whether pets or kids are welcome. So just scroll through there and make your plans.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Family House. Get ready, Pittsburgh, because their 42nd annual Family House Polo Match is coming our way on Saturday, September 6th at Heartwood Acres. It's presented by F&B, and it's an all-day event with a little something for everyone. So a professional polo match, not a thing you get to see all that often here in Pittsburgh, a vintage car show by the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, live music, food trucks, tailgating, a silent auction, kids activities. By the way, kids under 12 get in for free, and so much more. Come out and support a great cause while enjoying a truly special day. All the proceeds benefit Family House, which is a nonprofit here in our region, providing safe, affordable lodging for patients and caregivers traveling to Pittsburgh for medical care. Do not miss it, September 6th at Heartwood Acres. Tickets and more information are at familyhouse.org/polo. We'll see ya on the field. So now we're going to talk about stuff you can do down on the farm. I feel like this is what a lot of people think of when they think of like a fall activity, like apple picking, pumpkin patches, that kind of thing. Lots of hayrides, corn mazes. There really are a ton. And a lot of these run for like weeks and weeks. But we're going to talk about a few special ones that are starting a little earlier, because it seems like on the average, most begin like those first few weekends in October. So we'll talk about those another day.
Yeah, so let's start with one that's actually, I feel like, leaning into the Halloween vibes a little early. So starting September 19th, Cheeseman Farm is running their Pumpkin Festival and Fright Farm. This is where you can take a hayride, pick a pumpkin, and then go through their haunted corn maze. They have 100 acres out there in Portersville. Dates and times do vary for the Pumpkin Fest and the Fright Farm experiences, but just check their website. It's a really great way to do both, I guess, like spooky and that traditional fall, like pumpkin picking and all of that.
Totally. And then another one that I'm really excited to check out just because the list of activities at this one is kind of unhinged in a fun way. The Harvest Trail at Simmons Farm. They have a variety of ways to experience this, but you can do like a wristband, for example, and that'll get you access to a bunch of stuff like a petting zoo, a pumpkin patch. They have carving displays. There's a butterfly house. They have the traditional mazes, but they do them with corn, with hay, and with sunflowers.
Oh.
I know. And then there's just like all these special events and games that they do throughout the next few weeks. Like one is a human hamster wheel. They do, I'm guessing like the board game, it's listed as Pumpkin Guess Who. So maybe there's faces carved into the pumpkins. I'm not really sure. Excited to see. There's something called Basketball Corn Hopper. No clue what that is.
Okay. Interesting.
And then a strongman competition with sledgehammers. Like Simmons, you really you get the creativity award. I have not read a single one that reads like this. I love it.
Yep. This is peak fall experience. I went to Simmons Farm for the first time this summer. It was a blast. They didn't have like all of these events going on, but it was so cool. Just like
no sunflower mazes?
No, they did have sunflowers. Their zinnia field is beautiful.
I bet.
They did peach picking and stuff. And there you could see the apple orchards where you could go apple picking. But it's just so beautiful because it's literally placed on these rolling hills and you can just see the whole farm from up top on the hill. And so that sounds like so much fun. Very family friendly. So some other farms are starting their events in September, like Sorgles and Shino out in Wexford. And a bunch are doing it in October, like Freedom Farms and Janoski's. They do their Pumpkin Land every year. So head to our website at pittsburgh.citycast.fm to see the whole list. But we'll be back sharing even more as we get closer to spooky season.
Yeah, October really is it's the farm month. Definitely yes. Farm month. We'll talk about that soon. So we're still working on our guide to local haunted houses. If you think that this guide is comprehensive, just wait, stay tuned for that. But I wanted to go through a couple can't miss options from our local amusement parks because first of all, they're often some of the most accessible because of the spaces that they're in, and they kick off in September.
Yep. Yeah, like Kennywood's Phantom Fall Fest, that starts September 12th. That runs all the way through October. And I have not been to Kennywood's Halloween festivities. I think it used to be called something else, but I'm blanking on it. I think they changed it to Phantom Fall Fest to make it...
I mean, they got to keep the branding in line with the roller coasters, you know?
Truly. I think what it was... I think this is more family-friendly now. They have more family-friendly activities. Back then, it was like nighttime, scary, like someone comes up to you with a chainsaw.
Nope, hard pass.
Yeah, was not my favorite then, but I think that they've done a lot to revamp it over the years. So they do.
I know a lot of people that have taken their small children to this. So I never heard a review that included a chainsaw. So I assume that's not on the docket anymore.
We're talking about back in high school. So this is a long time ago. I'm sorry, Kennywood. I have not been, but they do have haunted houses. They have 6 haunted houses and 4 scare zones. So you can kind of, pick which kind of fright adventure you want.
Yeah.
And then the newest one, they call it their most extreme haunt yet. It's called Detached. Let me just read how they describe it, Megan, so you get a feel for it. They say it's the puppet master's delusional quest to put on the perfect show has only led him deeper into madness. So imagine a bunch of deranged dolls and creepy marionettes.
Well, we'll move on to one of our other amusement parks, Idlewild. They always do this annual Halloween celebration. So this kicks off...
More kid-friendly.
Much more kid-friendly. This one kicks off on September 13th. The whole thing is designed, when I say kid-friendly, for littles, more so than the Kennywood experience, which most of Kennywood has a height requirement, must be over this to ride. Idlewild's a little bit different. So they're doing a trick or treat through their storybook forest. And they say they have one of the longest treat trails in the whole state of Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And then there's all kinds of rides too. They have their Midnight Conductor Railroad. There's this teasing sentence that says, "Find out what happens when growing pumpkins goes horribly wrong."
What?
I know. I love it. I like a mystery setup just from the jump. But this sounds really fun. I've heard it's pretty immersive for little kids, but also like not in a scary way. So I'm excited to take my kid to this. I think this one looks like just up our alley.
That sounds like so much fun. I want to see pictures.
Absolutely. And then we have a few honorable mentions here just at the end. These don't have a ton to do specifically with the fall season from what we can tell, but they just look really fun and they are happening in September. So, choose your own adventure.
Yeah, this feels a little mystical, kind of like Halloween.
Back to nature, perhaps.
Yes. So Bloom Cafe in Valencia is having a Hobbit festival. I have not been, but I want to go. If I go up north.
Bloom is so good. Their food is so good. Their coffee is excellent. Their pastries are good. And it's a plant shop, which is just fun.
Yeah, you told me about that. They have like a really cute outdoor area where you can sit, and then they're like, do they have like a greenhouse nearby or like
lots of greenhouses that you can wander around, lots of plants, lots of knowledge too. If you like want a plant or like a tree, for example, but you don't know what to get, there are folks there that can help you.
What a dream. Plants and coffee and a good breakfast sandwich. Well, this day they're doing a Tolkien-inspired celebration of fantasy, food, fun. It's meant to be something for the whole family. So there's going to be live folk music, local vendors, craft workshops, themed drinks. I'm not surprised by that. That sounds like a lot of fun for them. So I don't know if I'll make it for this one, but I gotta make it up there soon and take your recommendation, Megan.
Yeah, be like Tim Walls and check out Bloom Cafe.
I'm imagining him in some Hobbit themed gear now.
I know. Wouldn't that be great? Another one, this one's in Troy Hill. It's on September 20th. They're having their annual Pigtober Fest, again, happening in September. But this is a community festival for like homemade food and drinks, live music, vendors. Previous years, they did a bake-off and a pumpkin carving contest. It sounds like details are still coming out. But Pigtober, I have no idea if pigs are actually involved in this, but it is like kind of a historical reference to when Rialto Street was once called Pig Hill. So something fun to look forward to if you want to kind of like celebrate the roots of one of Pittsburgh's older neighborhoods.
Yeah. And it was called that because pigs were herded down the hill to the slaughterhouse in Hers Island. I
was going to skip that part, but you do you.
Well, I feel like
it does kind of add to the gruesomeness of the season, maybe.
It does. I mean, people are probably wondering, like, why pigs? Well, I don't think this festival is necessarily like that, but just calling back to its roots.
And just one more, also kind of for history lovers, Donkfest. I'm doing this wrong. We're gonna let our buddy, famous Pennsylvanian Dwight Schrute, take this one.
If onlys and justs were candies and nuts, then every day would be earned to Donkfest.
I love that The Office took this over. I think he was in Eastern Pennsylvania, but we'll still give it to him. So this is an opportunity to celebrate the harvest at Old Economy Village in Ambridge. It really does feel like perfect Dwight Schrute. You get an opportunity to celebrate kind of like the 19th century, the many tasks that settlers once took on to prepare for winter. So they're going to have lots of demonstrations and education, so like cooking, baking, crafts, things like that. Like what our many, many ancestors probably had to do to get ready for winter.
Yeah, it's a great way to learn some skills, take them home with you. And again, we have a massive list on our website, pittsburgh.citycast.fm. If none of these sounded appealing to you, which I don't know how, but if they didn't, there is probably like double or more we have in this list. So there is something for everyone. And we'll be, talking about more fall celebrations throughout the season.
Yep, and part 2 coming real soon as well. That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you are a fan of food news, please do check out our website. You can scroll over to that food and drink section for a bunch of fun roundups. We've got stuff on like the history of Pittsburgh's cookie table, a beginner guide to foraging. That's a great one to know about this season. And then, of course, our running list of new restaurants that you can check out in Pittsburgh. We all pour a lot of love into that. Chief among them is Francesca, so check it out. And if you like us, if you like CityCast Pittsburgh, you can also help keep us us going and listen without ads or any of those suggested content things that pop up in your feed. You can do that by becoming a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. Thank you to all of yins who have joined recently. We are really excited to announce a new member event coming soon, so look out for that. We will be back tomorrow with more news from around the city. We'll talk to you soon.
If you want to wear your best lederhosen, how do you say that? I don't even know.